Okay, so we just went from one of the more serious features with very, very interesting tattoos and a provocative kind of well thought out process in Biomech Mark to the absolute worst the internet has to offer.
Woo!
So it's a roller coaster ride for us today here.
I love the worst the internet has to offer.
I mean, it's fun for a laugh, I guess. It's a little sad at times.
We could almost do like a new series, like a sub-series of like reacting to the worst tattoos.
Yeah, I don't want to work that much harder. That's a whole other thing. Because, like, you'll never get to the end of that anyway, because it's just constantly...
Never gonna get to the end of what we're doing anyway.
No, it's just one-upsmanship, right? Like, it's the bottom is always lower. Like, that's a never-ending hole.
I know, I love it. All right, let's talk about this first one. What's going on here?
So you just flip through here and you can see kind of what they're doing here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he's got a sword on his nose.
Ah, why?
And I do think that this is real because it's quite red and
He looks quite pissed off.
Yeah. I like how it wraps a little around there, so you get this like kind of...
It makes his nose like really like
nose.
a buttony. Like he's got like a little button nose.
I'm thinking this is probably his only tattoo.
So strange.
Yeah, I like this. For some reason, I get a real vibe that like this is... And it may be the only one he ever gets.
You know, I find this one really strange. The ones that I don't find strange is like the ones where they do like a line across their nose.
I
or, like,
find it completely strange when they do that.
I don't think any of that. No, I don't think any of that's strange. To me, those aren't strange.
That's a line across the nose.
I don't think that's strange.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Like,
why would you put a line down your lip? Why? Like, why?
That one, kind of, I guess, but like the nose, single floating nose tattoo attached to nothing is insane.
This is weird to me, but the line, I've seen like people do like a line. The other one that I think is really weird is the tribal nose. Have you seen the tribal nose tattoos, like the cyber sigil nose tattoos?
Yeah,
Anyways,
I've seen those. I mean, it's not like what am I? Who am I to judge?
Yeah, right?
Like, I'm sitting here with face tattoos myself, and I sound like an old boomer judging this guy.
No, the scar ones I think really make sense to me because you're not just gonna go give yourself a scar, right? But like you can tattoo it.
I mean, scarification, it does happen. So,
yeah, but most people don't have the pain tolerance for that.
I don't know how much worse it is, to be honest with you. I think it's different.
You should go get one.
Scarification is also a faster thing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more like a piercing type deal.
I also think it's a little bit unpredictable still, right? It depends on how your body heals.
Well, yeah, there's a level of unpredictability to scarification, but if you control for everything as best you can as an artist, you can ensure a sort of result.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of play between who's doing it, though. Mm. But, like, everyone's body does heal differently.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get keloids anyways.
You can control for some of those varied results, but this is not a scar.
No, I know. It's a nose sword.
There may be some scarring in here.
It's really changed the profile of his face. Like, the nose is very buttony.
I don't think that was the plan or the goal in mind. I think that is and also it looks like, I don't know if it's swelling or if his eyebrows are just completely off. Maybe one eyebrow comes over farther than the other, but the sword seems to come up on a lean.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it is placed correctly. It's just because his eyebrows are not the same amount of fur per eyebrow.
And no one's going to have that.
So what I would say is now you need to shave a little bit off that other eyebrow to make the curvature correctly.
My thing is if anybody knows the nose sword guy, like, I want to know if anybody there's a chance. I want to know why.
I don't think the answer is going to be that crazy. I think it'll just be like, I like this.
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's that simple.
I don't think there's going to be some deep dive on it, like you find out he's like been collecting swords his whole life.
I just don't know how you envision a sword there, like on the side of the face or like other places I could see.
I think the perfect location for something like that on the face is like right here. I have that dagger on the side of mine, and there's a way to do this that isn't making this statement.
Yeah.
But this is what I always say, like a tattoo isn't a tattoo, it's a tattoo, right? Because like you could get this anywhere else on your body and no one would give a shit. Like, people come in and get stuff like this every day.
Right.
It's like, but then I say, oh, just imagine that on someone's forehead, though. All of a sudden, it's a game changer. It's crazy to me that the image is the same and it's suddenly such a huge fucking problem just because you move it even theoretically, if it was on the side of his ear, it doesn't cause him the same problems, and it's only really a few inches over. Like, it's crazy how our human minds work, because this just changes the way everybody sees this.
Well, and
guy
I
now.
wonder how many people recognize that it's a sword from afar, or if it just looks like he has like
Well, you
a
won't know what it is.
interesting tattoo down his
You'll
nose.
just see some kind of a shape on his nose.
Right.
But to me, it's just fascinating how this goes from like a fairly quick walk-in sword that you get anywhere to this changed your life forever thing.
If this walks into our shop, unless they're like fully tattooed, I'm saying no. I would not feel comfortable.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't, but like I'm saying, like it's crazy to me how the same image somewhere else is no problem.
Yeah, I mean, someone's gonna do it, but that someone is not me. I just I don't know.
Human beings are so strange.
Right? And I'm not comfortable enough to do anyone's face tattoo yet, so oh man, there's so many pictures of it.
Oh yeah, I made sure to get the whole
story
in here. Make sure people can see it.
All right, so this next one, I've seen a lot of these lately.
Yeah, I think it's funny, but like there's also a way to do hair on someone's head.
Yeah, the little dots. I've actually seen some.
No, I don't mean that. I mean like you can just go get a hair transplant.
Oh, yes. No, I've seen tattoos that look really good where they do little dots so that it looks like they have like a fresh.
Yeah, but like, hear me out here. So you could say, because someone could say, oh, well, he can just grow his hair and maybe it's just for the joke. No, he brought it down the forehead, right? So now it's like if he had real hair, there's just some weird shading on his forehead. Like it's such a strange one to me.
Yeah, this is pretty strange.
Like if your goal is to look like you have hair, you can, there are some places you can go that you would pay probably around the same amount to actually have hair again. Like hair transplants are done every day
and
now.
they work really good.
Yeah, they do.
We've seen in person how well they work.
He's got as healthy a head of hair on him as me almost.
Yeah, gorgeous. His hair is so nice.
He was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Like he was pretty much done. Like pretty much bald for life at that point. Like it was getting a little sadder every time I seen him.
But it's
now
beautiful now. Like you wouldn't even know.
It's like lush movie star hair, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I don't understand why you would do this. Like, because the intention is like, oh, we want to make it look somewhat realistic. But like, because you're not adding any height to this thing, and there's not really any dimension here, it's like, it just looks like a bowl of something spilled on his noggin.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good.
Like, you know what it's supposed to be, but the texture is not right.
No.
Right? And I know that it's probably not altogether serious. Mm-hmm. But, like, why don't you just get hair?
People just do a lot. Like, they really, like, ruin themselves for the joke.
Yeah, it's because it's not funny after everyone stops laughing.
Well,
it's just sad.
10 years down the road, like I think you have regrets.
Unless your life is full on first impressions every day, like people are going to get used to it and they're just going to be like sad for you. Yeah. Like, why don't you just go get some hair?
Yes, like they even have really nice like glue.
Clearly, he's
pieces.
Thought about the fact that he's bald a lot,
right?
Like even if he's not taking it hard, there's like some amount of mind that's like dedicated towards like, oh, I don't have hair, right? So let's make a joke of it. It's like, or go get some.
Right.
This is like, if I started going bald and it really concerned me, I don't really care if I go bald because I have a full head tattoo and I'm prepared for that. But like, if it was a problem for me, I would just get more hair, not fucking tattoo a fake head of hair on.
For you, I think the best thing that could happen to you in the world is to get gray hair. And you don't even have one. Like, you do not have one gray hair on that head.
No luck for me. I keep thinking, I'm getting up there, too. Like, I should be fucking getting something, and it's not gonna happen.
I'm a year and a half older than Rem. Haha. And I have, like, 5 gray hairs.
Yeah, my old lady.
But, I think he'd take them if he could.
I would.
I'm blessed, though, because my gray hairs are actually white. So, yes, we'll look like a little old witch soon. Let's talk about this one instead of Sarah's gray hair.
Bugs Bunny. Speaking of gray, there's some nice gray opaques in here.
I was going to say, this is, like, nicely done.
I like the glow a lot. I think That's my favorite thing about this is the glow, like the use of light source
Like this
here.
neon kind of.
It's just very, very impressive, like
It
the
is.
awareness of how the light would hit this thing and the execution of it. The soft shading from the dark to light colors is beautiful. Makes me want a Bugs Bunny tattoo.
Well, and even like this is a cartoon, but like the realistic detail in the teeth and gums and tongue, the realistic detail
shine
in
on
our
that one
eye,
tooth,
like
eh?
our little like like all of the, it is still cartoon, but it's really well thought out.
You know, this is where I always say that a good artist will usually have an eye for good composition too, because this thing's not small.
No,
Right? Like, it's the right size for the outer bicep.
it is.
And, like, these cartoon characters, they could obviously be done very small, right? Because Bugs Bunny tattoos, when you think of, like a Looney Tunes character tattoo, it's going to be like a little tiny guy,
Like a little stamp.
right? But, like, this is the fucking size right here. This is the size I'm always crowing about on here. It's like, if you use the fucking space, more foreground, less background, everything you want up front, and then the background that is there is used very well in conjunction with that pink to pop him off the
Right.
backdrop.
Well, I also wanted to point out another thing about the lighting is like the ears and everything kind of behind is not as vibrant, and like we don't have the whites and the brightness as like the face that is like front and center. Like it really, the way they shaded it gives it like crazy depth.
Oh yeah, he's
really
really
smart.
popping off. You imagine he's just standing right here with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's that close to the frame. Yeah, no, it's really cool. I love the thick border around the card too. Lots of cool tricks.
Really nice. And back to really bad.
Talk about great. It's pretty decent sizing, right? Like, this is pretty good sizing. I love the expression on his face. Like, he was like, "Oh fuck."
What did I do to myself?
Well, no, it's more like, "Oh, no one was supposed to see this." Like, he's secretly in love with it, but like doesn't want anyone to know.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This might be like a Canadian cartoon, but there was that one. It was like Real Monsters, and he's like a big fat guy with a mouth, and his eyes are in his hands.
Well, I can think of lots of mouths that kind of look like this, but like I don't know if there was any thought of
No, probably not.
like what this comes from. Is that supposed to be a cigarette? What is it holding with its teeth? What is it biting?
I can't get in.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I don't know. Probably a cigarette.
Yeah, so obviously perspective is way off on that.
I think
but-
this is another. This is one of the ones where the artist should have been like, "This is a bad idea."
Well, I mean, you're using the term artist a little loose there, I think. Although the sizing is decent, like it could be even bigger. You could make this even bigger. Honest to God, you could. Especially like make it like the whole chest, right? Why leave these little titties out of it like that?
I don't know. It also
Fucking
reminds
build
me
those
of like
into the thing.
the mouths of the Titans on Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
like it's gonna eat you.
Believe it or not, this could be really cool still. So people are gonna damn this, but like I see a way to bring this to life.
It could be
very
like
easily.
fun horror if someone who knows what they're doing.
Literally a couple hours, and this is suddenly like an awesome tattoo.
Yeah. It could be like super good and creepy. It's
Like I
just-
always say, like if you have a bad layout, you're fucked. But this is a decent layout. So you could make these teeth like bright yellow and orange, and then you make the lips like purple or something, and you do like two googly eyes on his clavicles. Right? Like, no, like you could make it really fucking cool, like a new school type face, and just build it out down the torso. Like, you could do a lot with this.
I'm thinking more bio horror. Like,
And I don't think it's quite spooky enough.
I think it could be made spooky.
I don't know, because the shapes are all well defined. Like, the teeth are all pretty well defined, actually. Like, this is not as bad as it looks at first glance. That's all I'm saying. But like the look on the guy's face is pretty fucking
Yeah, I think
hilarious.
that's the best part of the. He's
Yeah.
just like, oh, what did I do to myself?
Oh, why are you photoing me?
Oh my god.
Yeah, this one I've seen a few times, but I always felt like it deserved a place on Remy Reacts.
This is the. I'm gonna go to the beach and get all the attention, kind of tattoo.
Yeah, I think anywhere that he could be topless, you're gonna find this guy. Like, he'll literally be walking a hot day in summer like this. You know what I mean? Like any chance he can to just. My thing is, it's too bad. Like, so you have all these removals happening, right?
Yeah.
Like you had Black Alien talking about leg removal. Obviously, that's off the table. I think he likes soccer too much because he hasn't done it, and he hasn't done any more removals since all that.
I think the recovery from it would be really hard, and I'm glad that he has currently changed his mind.
Hear me out. This guy would look better without arms, right? Like if you were able to surgically remove his arms, the joke is even better because now these are his arms.
I think this would be a better tattoo for someone who, didn't have, arms. But I wouldn't surgically remove arms, but this is a funnier tattoo on someone that is...
He already has arms, and they work just fine. What does he need the other ones for?
Right? So he can look like the guy on Mortal Kombat that has 4 arms.
But, like, I also want him to get rid of the nipples, too, because he has a serviceable set of nipples up top. All right? Like, there's some more that needs to be done here before I can sign off on this. Well, if he wants to commit to the joke, he's got to lose his arms and his nipples.
I feel like you got to build out the rest of the craft, too.
Well, yeah, that can happen, but first things first, right? Like, we need to get priorities here.
All right, so come on down to our shop. We'll chop off your arms.
I don't know if we'll do that for. I'm not saying I don't want any part in that. I'm just saying, like, if you want to commit to this joke, like, there are some more steps that can be taken here.
Right. Yes.
Like, if you go double down on this idea, and God bless, people are doing crazier things, in my opinion. Anyway, it's not like we're not chopping off appendages every day.
You might have to go and see a plastic surgeon for that. Like, how do you?
Well, I don't think anybody's actually seriously going to do that.
Who do you go and see? No, because Black Alien removed fingers.
Yeah.
Who do you go to see to get those removed?
Well, I know who took his off, and the same guy who has offered to do my eyeballs. Remember, Gato Marino?
Oh, okay.
But, like, there are surgeons that aren't technically surgeons, right? Like, you can have that skill set and not be like a legal certified surgeon.
Yeah.
So,
no, and you know what? Those guys, it's actually kind of sad that they can't practice and be licensed.
Well, because it forces you into this thing where people are going to do those things anyway, and then they're just going to find someone willing to, and maybe that someone isn't so good for it.
Yeah, and we know firsthand how good someone who's kind of practicing underground.
Yeah.
When you have nurses looking at their stitches, going, "These are really nice stitches. Who did them?" And you're
like, what does a certification mean?
Well, exactly.
Like,
it's just sad that our society's so screwed up that these people
we've gone a little far from the point here.
Yes.
I think this is fucking awesome. I think this is a great use of depth shading here. Like, you really see his arms popping out there. Again, this feels like this is literally his body.
I think we could have brought out the elbows and taken up more of his shoulders so that it was more like,
I think it's fucking awesome, and I think sometimes these joke tattoos, they don't get the credit that they're due, because they did a pretty good job of making this work.
Yes, and making it look like this could possibly be his body.
Yeah.
Next one.
So yeah, this is a full color cover up of a black and gray, and I like both versions of it, but this I just wanted to include in here because it's like so many people seem to think that you can't do these things, like especially black and gray. Like, it's like, oh no, you can't really cover any of those black lines with color. Like, it's just, they're gonna sing through. And
they totally did though.
You can, and not only can you do that, but you can also utilize them. But if you'll notice, like, they didn't even keep the same shape of the bodies or the balloons. They just made new ones, Yeah. They literally just made new ones.
No, I know. Like, I'm looking at
the characters down below.
And there's maybe like a few shapes that they kept, but most of them they didn't.
They just kept the same idea and did a new thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I wanted to show this because, like, people think that this is just doable for people like me that are doing this constantly. And it's like, oh, it's this huge body of work thing. And, like, if you don't have that much space, you can't do that. It's like, no, you can do this on any scale.
Yeah, even for like a little guy.
Literally any scale, especially if you're open to color.
Yes.
It's like color changes everything.
Well, we had the girl the other week that wanted to cover up, and she adamantly didn't want color.
Yeah. I don't know why everyone's so fucking hard lined against color.
And I think we should just be able to like bust something like this out and be like, this is what you can do if we do color.
Yeah, but for some reason people are like scared of color because I think it's like oh, then I have a tattoo. Whereas black and gray doesn't really look like much if you're not right up on it a lot of the time.
I also think that there's too many horror stories about red ink that are floating around.
Oh man,
and I think the red ink reaction, I think, is fairly rare.
If the things that people think about tattoos were true and what they do to you, I would have been dead many years ago. And here I am. I've never been in better health.
Right.
So, and I'm still getting tattooed multiple times a week. It's like, it just has to be bullshit. Like, it just has to be. So.